I have to be more concerned with the fluid in my knee right now. I'm coming along with the progression and the therapy, and as long as I can keep progressing and keep the fluid out of my knee, then I anticipate being back about the fourth game.
Watching the game on television, what are some of the things? I remember you said you like to watch the tight ends play. How about some of the other things? Are you trying to pick up anything there?
Well, I was awful impressed with our team and the way that we have everybody too deep in every position. I'm just tickled to death to see that we have two starters in every position, and I think that's very important. It was a critical game for us last night, coming off a very lackluster performance against Baltimore, and it was important to go into Seattle and play well, and we did with the type of people that we have, and it's a good feeling.
You know, talking about the backup players for the Vikings, a lot of people in the game last night that did very, very well. You couldn't tell they were backups at all.
That's true. It was their first chance to start in a while. I think Tony Galbraith, Jarvis Redwine made some good plays for us, and Marty McDowell. Terry LeCount he's starting now, but he made a big catch on that 2-minute drive. I think that Leo Lewis, he comes in mostly on the third down situations, but he made some good plays for us. And the offensive lineman, Dave Huffman, came in and started doing a good job for us at center and gave Steve plenty of time to throw the football.
I noticed that Tommy names all the offensive players. How about on defense, Joe? Did you notice anybody?
Well, I think Keith Nord did an outstanding job, as he has been doing all preseason, showed that he is a great football player. And Neil Elshire played himself a darn good football game for coming in critical situations. And you know, when you have players like that, it just makes you feel good to be standing on the sidelines and know that they're going to do a job just as well as you, if not better. And that's what wins championships, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Something I was impressed with, the defensive line overall, very good play again last night, it seemed. They were pressuring the quarterback quite often.
Well, you can do that when you get the other team's offense into the passing situations, which they did by stopping their running game. They ran for a lot of yards against Green Bay when Green Bay played them in Seattle, and what we did, we stopped them on the first and second downs, which forced them to throw the football, and the defensive lineman can then tee off on the quarterback and force him to throw the football early or else get through sack.
Well, Joe and Tommy, another thing about last night's game that was somewhat obvious to me, Seattle came out, threw the ball a lot in the first half. In the second half, suddenly Cullen Bryant in the game. This guy can run the ball.
Well, he can. He's been around the league for a while. He was with the Rams for a long time, made some great plays with them, hurt us when we played them several times in Los Angeles and here in playoff games. So, you know, we know what he can do, and he came out and did it again. But fortunately, we stopped him in the fourth quarter when we had to stop him.
Joe, you're watching the game on TV. You see a guy like Cullen Bryant starting to get some yardage against your defense. Were you worried at all there?
Not really. We know that he's going to chew up some yards because he is a great back. And one thing you have to point out with Seattle that they were mentioning last night, that their offensive line just attacks people and moves them the way they possibly can move them, and then the running backs pick the holes. That's their philosophy on their running game. And Cullen Bryant is an experienced running back, and he can pick their holes. And in short yardage situations last night, you know, there were some holes there for him, and he got through them and got the first downs for him. And I think for Seattle and the fans there, he's going to be a great addition for him.
I think the Seahawks proved one thing. They know how to possess the ball. Holy smokes, they had it for 7.5 minutes in the first part of the second half anyway.
It seems like a lot of teams have been doing that to us lately. We played Baltimore in the first half. They controlled the ball for 7-some-odd minutes, and you know, that's something that our defense is going to have to get us the ball maybe sooner, or try and take it away from them or something, so we can have more opportunities to put some points on the board. Anytime you're on offense, you hate to see that happen to your defense because it tires them out. And then the worst thing is when the offense comes in, maybe only runs 3 plays, and defense has to go back on the field, and you hate to put them in that position.
Yeah, the offense only had the ball 8 offensive chances in the third quarter.
Well, there's no question they controlled the ball. They did in the second half, but the most important thing was we bent a little bit, but we didn't break.
I guess, Joe, what you're saying, it doesn't matter how much you move the ball around, it's whether you get points on the board, right? Okay, stay tuned. We're coming back on Vikings Replay with highlights of the Seattle game, including some comments. That and more coming up. Hi, everybody. Welcome back again to Vikings Replay. Jeff Passolt along with Tommy Kramer and Joe Sensor. Tonight we're coming to you from the Vikings' beautiful training facility, Winter Park, here in Eden Prairie. And now, guys, we're going to talk about the Seattle game a little bit more. Came right off the bat. Steve Dills had the Vikings moving the ball, but some mistakes kind of hurt right off the start. That's
true. Those holding penalties that you have will cost you all the time. They're hard to overcome. And then after that, we got sacked, so we had to punt the ball away. And Seattle comes out, moves the ball down the field, and Zorn throws a pass to Largent. Largent makes a good move on John Swain, beats him on the inside, and makes a good catch. He has to reach back and stop and catch the football, and makes a great catch.
It wasn't until the second quarter when the Vikes finally got things rolling along, the passing game really started to move. What did you notice there, Joe, that was any different from the first quarter?
Well, we were moving the football. We were just we're getting caught in critical situations and either making a mistake or, you know, I kind of felt sorry for Steve Dills, but he played a tremendous football game, and he had receivers running in and out. And I think it's a little tough to get your continuity down, knowing your receivers, some of them you're throwing 2 or 6'5", the other one's 5'8". And, you know, sometimes he threw the football a little bit, and the ball seemed to sail on him, and those things happen in the course of a ball game. And I thought he was very sharp. I thought the offense was moving the football and did as well as they possibly could.
Well, then finally, guys, second quarter, Vikings got on the board.
That's true. It was nice to see it. We had an opportunity when Jarvis Redwine made a first down on a little bootleg where he's running a check flare, and then we had a holding penalty, I believe, on that play. And then Steve Dills hits Terry LeCount on an out pattern and gets down to about the 1 foot line, and then Jarvis Redwine runs it into the end zone from there. And I was happy to see Jarvis put the ball in the end zone. He's been working real hard for us, and I think he's finally coming through to be a good football player for us.
A very big play, Joe, on the ensuing kickoff. Seattle made the return. Their very first play from scrimmage, Robin Senline made a big play.
Well, seeing that we had a chance to see some other players in the game, I'm sure Bud was looking, and he's always preaching to the fact that somewhere along the line you're going to get a chance to make a big play. And it's the guys that can make the big play when they have the opportunity are the ones that succeed in the league. And Robin is a tough football player, and he's learning every game, and he's been around a little bit now, and he's starting to show what he can do. And he made a tremendous play.
Another big play a little bit later in the second quarter. Seattle fumbles, John Swain recovers, and you guys get the ball inside the 20.
That's true, but this time we did take advantage of it and put some points on the board, which, you know, whenever you get that ball down and they're into the field, you've got to come away with some type of points. You know, you'd like to have a touchdown if you could, but you definitely at least have to come away with 3 points anytime you get the football and they're into the field.
So the field goal by Norm Johnson makes it 13-10, but you guys come right back and show that you can run the 2-minute drill and get back into scoring position.
Oh, I tell you what, there was a lot of excitement on the sidelines when we got into our 2-minute drill, because it's just a feeling that we know we're going to put some points on the board. And Steve Dills did a great job. The receivers did a great job. Schoner comes in and kicks the field goal for us. So we were very happy to get some points at that point.
It was kind of nice to see that, too. Steve Schoner had missed a field goal and an extra point earlier in the game. This one kind of got his confidence back. So it's 16-10 at the half, guys. Seattle comes out with a new quarterback in the third quarter, plus Cullen Bryant, a running back who really makes his mark.
Oh, he definitely did. And the thing is, they took the ball down in the first drive and put it in our end of the field, and they held us in that field position the whole time. We did nothing ourselves to get ourselves out of that jam. We were 3 plays and out, I think 3 or 4 times in the third quarter, and that hurts you to not be able to gain any field position throughout the game.
It was tough on the defense because you only had the ball twice in the third quarter. The defense, what happens there? It really must take its toll on some of those guys, especially the big men.
Well, there's no question that the defense, that was a big test for them. They're out on the field a lot, but as we said earlier, we bent a little bit, but we didn't break, and that's a good sign.
Seattle regains the lead 17-16, but a lot of big plays put you guys right back into scoring position.
Oh, the biggest play, I think, in that drive was the draw play to Tony Graboth, where he gained 20-some-odd yards after we had a quarterback sack. They were fired up at that point. They felt like they had the game under control, and then Tony makes a great run. He had some good blocks on that play. Then on a crucial third down play, Steve Dills hits Leo Lewis on the out ball, and Leo starts to fake like he's going to try and run for a touchdown, and then decides to step out of bounds. And then another big play in that drive was a pass to Steve Jordan over the middle. And then from that point on, we just decided we're going to go with our field goal and just try and run the ball out, eat up some of the clock, and put the ball through the uprights. We picked up a close win in Seattle, and after the game, Vikings Replay had an opportunity to go in the locker room and talk with both players and coaches.
Did you think all along you guys could pull it off?
Yeah, I think you feel that way, especially at halftime. I felt good. I was a little concerned after the third quarter when we only got 6 plays in and their offense was driving and we really weren't doing as much. But you never know for sure, but I felt confident the whole time.
Well, Steve played well, but that's not unusual. I mean, he's done this for us. He beat Washington down there. He set a passing record in Tampa Bay. He's played other games for us very, very well. So, you know, Steve is a competent big league quarterback, and we're fortunate, you know, that we have people that of caliber to, you know, to back up.
Turnovers will get you beat. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win. No question about it. And that's one of the big errors that, you know, that we made in the ball game. But the guy made a great hit on Eric Lane there at the end, you know, and that had something to do with that turnover.
Tell me about the game-saving play.
Well, we was just in a double zone coverage, and I just made a break on the ball, made a good hit, and he upped the ball.
The feeling of the defense, I thought we did a pretty good job. After last week, you know, the coach moved the ball kind of good on us, but still, you know, we came back and this week and played another hard team that runs the ball. Knox likes to run the ball, and I think we did a good job against him on the first down. And then second down, you know, it made it a little bit longer for him to pick it up on the third down. So I think I'm happy. I think we did a good job.
Kind of an up-and-down game for you today?
Oh, without a doubt. It started real slow, and I'm just glad that things worked out towards the end a little bit better than they started.
Biggest thrill so far?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It's all much sweeter with being in Washington. I was born and raised in Washington, and didn't play too much football here after I left to go down to Stanford, but it's fun. And it's, plus, on top of that, it's first sustained playing time I've had probably since preseason last year, so it's definitely a pleasure.
All right, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll look in at the Vikings training camp in Mankato on Vikings Replay coming up. Welcome back again to Vikings Replay. Jeff Passolt along with Tommy Kramer and Joe Setzer. Guys, the big news in the NFL this week, they raised the roster limit. Is it going to have any effect?
I think it will help out most of the teams. You'll be able to carry some players that you wouldn't normally be able to carry. And in case of an injury situation, you'll be able to have those players come in and be able to play for you. They'll be working out with you the whole time. So I think it's a big plus for everybody in the league. Okay,
we talk about an injury situation. Let's go firsthand right here. How do you think?
Well, I think there's no doubt that USFL had a little bit to do with the 49, the expansion of the roster to 49. And, you know, there are some guys you'd love to keep around because they're borderline players. And they're great players, and for the USFL to take them, you know, you're taking them totally off your roster, and towards the end of the year, you might need that player, need to recall them. And I think it was a good move.
What about the rookie core? We hear it's the most talented draft that the Vikings have had in a number of years. What do you think?
Well, I think it's too early to make a judgment on, make some type of statement like that. I think that, you know, they've got to go out and prove themselves, and until they do go out and prove themselves, that we have to just wait until they do it.
You know, I'm sure that you guys realize there is a different story for just about everybody involved in the Vikings training camp. And tonight, Randy Shaver takes a closer look at one of the Vikings rookies.
Gene Giles, number 18, admits he's lucky to be playing football, period. He's happy to be a free agent in the Vikings camp, but more importantly, he's happy to be alive. Just over 2 years ago, Gene was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, an infection of the large intestine. It's incurable. He lost some 46 pounds and was hospitalized for 2 months.
It's scary, you know. I learned a lot through the sickness, you know, being close to death. You know, I hate to say that I was close to death. You know, I felt that way, and the doctors told me, you know, don't worry, you know, it's nothing cancerous or anything. But, you know, I was really out of it, and I was kind of close to being, and, you know, not coming back. But, you know, I just kept the faith, and my doctors, you know, they guess you have to be positive about things like this, and that was a big thing. They were positive with me, and everyone around me, my friends, family, were positive with me.
Gene hasn't had a reoccurrence of his problem for 1.5 years, and in that time he's played some of the best football of his life. At the University of Minnesota Duluth, he was on the receiving end of touchdown pass after touchdown pass, and the quarterback making him look good, Bruce Grant, Viking head coach Bud Grant's son.
That's definitely the reason why I'm here, I'm sure. You know, Coach came up to see Bruce play, I think 3 or 4 times, and I happened to have pretty good couple good games when he came up. But now I think I just have to prove myself right now, you know, to show that I can play with the big boys.
Gene is, you know, he's a big play kind of player. He came from a situation where he was the main man up in Duluth, and he's coming down here and just demonstrate he can catch the ball. The other things he has to learn, and he's running with a group of receivers that are all, you know, pretty even.
More roster cuts are scheduled for tomorrow, and if Gene is cut, it'll make it tough, not only on him, but his wife and 3 kids.
It's kind of like my back's against the wall. You know, my wife wants to see me do good. You know, they'll still love me, you know, if I don't make it. But, you know, I go into every practice with thoughts of them each day, you know, and I want to, you know, I'm trying to provide for my family. That's one reason why I am here. You know, I'm here for the fun of it too, but I also like to provide for myself and my family.
For Vikings Replay, I'm Randy Shaver.
You know, tomorrow the Vikings have to have their roster down to 60 players. Giles is one of many rookies hoping his name isn't on that list, but you never can tell what happens when they have the cut-down list come along, can you?
No, over the course of the years, Steve Dills, Keith Nord, and myself have sat down and tried to figure out who were the players that were going to be on that roster and who weren't going to be, and we've always been wrong. So there's just no telling. Just hope it's not yourself.
Okay, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll scout the Denver Broncos on Vikings Replay right after this. Welcome back to Vikings Replay. I'm Jeff Passolt along with Tommy Kramer and Joe Sensor. Guys, you got Denver Broncos next on tap. You know anything about the Broncos?
Well, everybody knows the big news is coming to town is John Elway's coming to town. You know, every cover of every magazine's had him on it, and so we're looking forward to seeing what he's got.
Do you think he deserves all the attention?
Well, from what everybody's seen of him in college, and he's got a terrific arm. He's got a good head for football. His dad been a coach all his life, and he's been around the game for a long time. So we're looking forward. I'm looking forward to playing against him and kind of, you know, hopefully show him up a little bit and do ourselves a favor, getting ready to go into the season and get on a high note for the regular season.
Joe, what about this Bronco game? Is it important? Is it a must-win?
I think the rhythm and the timing, especially from an offensive point of view, is very critical at this stage because you have to be able to go out there and execute plays that you've been working on for 4 weeks. And if you can't do that, then it's a sign that almost at your training camp one didn't go as well as it should have. And it's a big game for us, and Tommy will be back at the helm, and I think everything will turn out all right.
You talk about John Elway, a lot of advanced publicity there, and I'll tell you what, he better be good. Here's what he looked like Saturday night against Cleveland. So the big game coming up against Denver at the Dome Friday night. And Tommy, in preparation for this game, you guys must be looking forward to it because it means the end of training camp. Has it been a good camp?
I think it's been a real good camp for us. We've got a lot accomplished. We've been able to take a look at some of the new ball players we have, and we're really looking forward to this game because we want to end the preseason on the upswing. Going into that first regular season game, you want to have a victory under your belt because now you're going to be playing for the money.
And Joe, with each passing week, your injury gets better, you get closer to playing time.
No question. I'm still shooting for the Dallas game, and I'm just hoping it progresses along, and I do miss it out there.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Don't forget our show next week, Monday night, 6:30, our first live broadcast of Vikings Replay. It should be a great one. Don't miss it.